And then to discuss reports, we have two sets of reports that we've added to the engineering role. The first set are design object reports, so that you can select various cast in place objects and export them out to Excel so that your engineers can fill in information like the grouping number and things like axial forces and reinforcing information that you'd want to show in your schedules. We also have a group of reports that are from our construction management role that are very geared towards the material takeoffs and bill of materials that are the way that they would like to see that presented. So for engineers collaborating with general contractors and subcontractors, we're trying to bring in the reports that these other disciplines are using so that you're communicating with them, apples to apples. So to give an example of the first set of reports, I'm going to use an example of us looking at the caissons in this project here. So I'm going to open up my reports and pick the caisson report. Now there's two reports, one for viewing in Tekla and one for exporting out to Excel. So the one in Tekla allows you to view the caissons interactively. One of the features in Tekla is that when you pick on the report item, when you have the part ID listed, it allows you to see the information in the model. So grid information and tip elevation, all this information here you can see. So we see there's no reinforcement information in here and there's no design mark information here. But for the report that I want to send out to Excel, I'm going to hit this one and I'm going to hit create all because these filters actually are set up to filter out all the caissons that are called caisson. And I need to change the setting to associated viewer so it opens up in Excel automatically. And here I see that the report that comes across into Excel has some basic information to help the engineer with his decision making of reinforcing and grouping. So we've included the global X and Y because the report writes it out in a chronological manner where it ascends it left to right, bottom to top with the XY, and that's the way that you would typically list out your foundation numbers. So if I wanted to start a numbering scheme, I can just select and just copy it down, and it automatically increments it in Excel, and it's going to, when we get back into the model, it would be laid out that left to right, bottom to top on the drawing. I can change things like the kips here for the forces, and so the location is corresponding to which element that you're actually designing. And here I'm just going to come in here and put in number 4 is at 12 on center and number 8 verts. Alright, and I'm going to continue here by copying these attributes down. And one thing to pay attention to is that when you import, we're going to import these back into the model, I recommend that you delete any of the columns that are just for information only and the data that you're not actually wanting to bring back into the model. And that's just because it'll actually enter them as user-defined attributes into the model, and you don't want to add a bunch of UDAs that you're not really using. So now I'm going to go ahead and just close this out and hit save. And I'm going to save it within the model here. And so now I'm going to just import this back in. So I'm going to go File, Import, Attributes. And I'm going to pick that file that's in the model folder, that CSV file, and use a comma delimited setting. And I'm going to look at my dialog box here so I can see the data that's coming back. So here I can see the reinforcing and the part design group mark coming back here. And I can verify this here. I can come into the model and I go to the design properties tab and I see that design information showing up here and then the part mark. So I can continue here by going back to my foundation drawing. So I can see those numbers I've updated here in the caisson schedule, the 1 through 8. The information like part mark information, I'm going to load my pile layout view, and this just isolates the caisson information for this plan view. And I just wanted to show you how this is actually numbering. So it's going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7, 8 on top. So you can change the report to work the way that you want it to work. So but that kind of gives you an overview of how you can use those reports, annotating the model objects through Excel. So we've reviewed various topics here for version 16, the localization. We do have documentation on all this within the install here. Version 16, documentation, US localization notes. That's available in your start menu. So now let's take a second to get situated for the question and answer portion.